Hey, everybody. Welcome back to episode 191 of the Winners and Losers podcast with Hank Thompson, your host. Me, Hank Thompson, reporting in. Why am I in such a good mood? Well, life finds a way. All right? You hear me, motherfuckers? It finds a fucking way. Okay? That's the original way that line was written in the script, but Jeff Goldblum is so handsome, he knew how to make it better. Oh, man, think of all the... Man. Anyway, sorry. Was just imagining what life must be like as Jeff Goldblum in his mid to late 30s. Must have been nice. What am I doing? Why does life find a way? Because rejoice. There is green abundance around us. What am I getting at? I was on a walk this morning. This has nothing to do with why you tuned in. You don't know what the fuck I'm even going to talk about, do you? We're going to talk about the TYT project. Well, it's already on screen. Okay, so look, I updated the corner 02, March 2024. The only difference between this and the last update is the thumbnail from the first chunk is on there now. I was going to reorder all this stuff and make it a whole big deal, but it's fine. Still in gross sweatpants mode. Been eating myself silly. Not too crazy. Honestly, I've had far worse, but I've been doing not the healthy kind of low carb, lots of veggies and lots of meat diet that I do that's the one where I feel good. I found a box of I'll get back to the life. Don't worry, guys. Don't worry. We'll get back to the life. In the closet, because of the flooding we had in December of this past year, horrifying story. Woke up at 1 a.m. and stepped in water. One of the worst things you can imagine. Although if you look at Twitter or the news or anything, there's clearly far worse things going on in the world. But anyway, not a good way to wake up 1 a.m. stepping in water on your second floor bedroom apartment, only to find your roommate's bathroom, and he's gone for Christmas break, and find his bathroom spraying full city pressure from the toilet line that had come loose because the part hadn't been replaced. It was the original fucking pipe. It wasn't even a bendy toilet line. It was one of the kinky ones, like a stiff pipe that you kink up a little. You bend it a little bit. Shitty old fucking copper pipe. Not even a bendy one. Not even like the silver bendy ones that we're supposed to be using for the toilet lines. The water that comes out of the wall that feeds the toilet, it had popped itself loose and was flooding the second floor and our first floor. We're the only unit in the building that has 2 floors for some reason. And anyway, because of that, they had to do some work on the construction. They had to come in and do a bunch of mold stuff. Now, is it the thorough kind of mold thing you imagine in your dreams when you watch This Old House? With all those guys that know what they're doing and are getting paid a lot of money and all that work is done so beautifully. I doubt it, but they did a good job. They were thorough. The closet under the stairs was wrecked. It was fucking mold heaven down there. And when I say mold heaven, I mean planet Earth is smoggy. You know how much mold Yoda must have in the Dagobah? You know, Luke Skywalker, if he had stuck around there, he would have gotten mold poisoning in his lungs. He would have had COPD. All of Star Wars would have been so different if Luke Skywalker the rest of the time was just like, oh, hold on, guys. I'll be okay. Like he had to do that every few minutes. This is how the podcast goes. Welcome, new listeners. Thank you. I dread recording and doing anything and saying anything. And then as soon as I get going, the Oompa Loompas in my brain start dancing in synchronicity sequence, synchronization. Except there's like several teams of them and a few cheerleading teams and 1 or 2 flag teams and a marching band team. They're very horny. I hear marching band people are horny. That's the rumor. And even some hardcore workout bro teams, you know, and they all start dancing around and I try to keep up with them. That's what you're listening to right now. So the mold guys were here, these construction dudes. First of all, why the fuck did I take French? These guys didn't speak a lick of English, you know, the barely enough. And I can kind of say like, amigo, and like, está aquí. Like I know some, but when I say some, I'm overusing that word is far too strong for describe. But I took French for 5.5 years. Every single American, as a country, as a nation, we should be ashamed of ourselves that we are not all fluent in Spanish. Why the fuck are we not taught Spanish in school? That's just a thing that every American does. We have 2 beautiful languages in this country, English and Spanish. And the third one is the love language I will have for my future wife. Leave a comment below. That'll be a mix of Spanish and French and English, by the way, just so you know. You will be able to understand it. Where I will hide a rose in the forest, and you must find the clues. Okay, sorry. Every single fucking American should speak Spanish. It should be not like, oh, you take Spanish class if you want when you get into middle school or whatever the hell, when I decided to take French class. It should be like, oh, yeah, no, it's just like when they teach you that you're supposed to, like, say please and thank you, and you're not supposed to squirt your, glue at your friends. And I mean, like, preschool. Spanish class. It should be so normalized that we all speak Spanish as well as English. I think about that language thing a lot. The English only. The right wing loves to, you hear that phrase a bunch. I mean, it comes and goes. I mean, the current racial thing that they're using so they can say the N-word without saying the N-word is DEI. Everything is DEI. Oh, the boat crashed into the bridge and knocked it down because of they hired black people. Oh, the Boeing planes are falling apart and crumbling as they're used in light use because there's a black pilot because of DE. So we go through phases because this crazed white supremacist fucking hellhole society has to be able to hide it somewhat. I mean, I guess that's progress, is that like the evil racists, of which I count myself, because we're all exposed to the nutrients of racial supremacy and racism that is embedded in every single fabric of every single bit of the country. So no one escapes it. It's in the soil. But they at least have to scurry about and try to find different ways of saying it. Social justice warrior, remember when they used to scream about actually SJWs and social justice warrior, like that was the thing? Dave Rubin, stupid fucking idiot. Whoa, social justice, SJWs. That word is too long. They've gotten really good with woke. Woke is going to stick around because it's a good word. One syllable, got a hard consonant in there. Works great. Real easy to use. So now they're saying DEI stuff about the Boeing people. Oh, English only. See, I'm sorry. I was forgetting what the fuck I was talking about. I wish I spoke Spanish. I'm embarrassed I don't speak Spanish. We should all be embarrassed we don't speak Spanish. It's a cool fucking language. I talk so fucking fast. Hope that's not offensive. I don't think it is. I think it's fucking true. Can't keep up. I hear a word I know of. Dinero. Oh, I know the word dinero. I know that word. I know that. I'm pretty good. But like, why the fuck did I take French? I was just so annoyed because these guys didn't speak any English. And I was trying to like give them stuff. I wanted to be like, can I get you some coffee I was going out, and I was like, I can bring them. And they were super nice guys. It just made me realize that like that, not this part, but I've had this thought a bunch. The whole frickin' thing about English only, when the conservatives rail about English only and they scream and bitch and moan about English only. Oh my God, I heard somebody speak Spanish. The world's gone nuts. They're putting Spanish signs or Spanish words in the government handbooks. And I mean, they've been doing that for a long time. But they're like doing, oh my God, I can't handle that it's not English, or that somebody with an accent, like all that stuff. First of all, you're just showing that you're part of you're reacting, you're regurgitating, you're fulfilling your role, your useful cog. Like the point of their cog in that moment in terms of like sustaining the fascistic immune system that is always sort of churning and is really trying to wake itself up real hard these last several years. It's always been there. Is being fulfilled when you're upset about that. Whereas where I'm here, I'm going like, why? First, I blame myself for taking French class. We could get some French workers to come fix the closet. That'd be kind of cool. Bonjour, mes amis. Bienvenue à la mold de la maison. Beaucoup de mold. See? That would have been okay. Voulez-vous voudrez? No, that's would you like? I shouldn't know how to fucking say that. Would you like? Voulez-vous voudrez? Je me douche? That means I shower, I think. So when they bitch and moan about English only, when that whole thing, all that is about, it's a solidarity disrupting technology. Think of it like that. Think of that kind of whining, that kind of fretting about people who should be required to speak English, and I think like overall a culture generally, people are going to end up speaking the same language, and I think it's kind of cool how language develops in different regions and different zones. Like when in Star Trek Voyager, they go to the Delta Quadrant. those people sound like they're from Iowa, and they all live in the Delta Quadrant, which is on the other side of the galaxy. A little unrealistic, but also, you kind of got to go with it. So I don't have to learn new languages just to watch an episode of Star Trek Voyager where Ensign Harry Kim gets to have sex with a bunch of horny ladies who want to eat him afterwards. I would totally take that deal. God damn it. One or two good nights, and then they feed on me like a praying mantis. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah, I do that. So when they scream about English only, what they're saying is, and it's not the individuals who are bitching, it's the cultural knot I'm trying to untie here. It's pretty obvious, actually. They don't want you to talk to people. They don't want you to feel any kind of connection. They don't want you to have that. And I'm not saying like my experience finding it a little frustrating because I wasn't able to communicate to the degree that I hoped to with these nice guys that were in my apartment. This isn't like, oh, it finally happened to me. No, I'm like Dick Cheney having a lesbian daughter and then finally being okay with lesbian. It's not, I've had this rant chambered up for many years. I just want to talk about the mold. Oh, because I found some 6-year-old chips in the closet. I had to clean out the closet, and there was a bunch of old chips and expired Trader Joe's cookies, which I ate them. They were gross. They were like a year. So anyway, yeah, I find it annoying that we don't culturally make it so that every single person, just because you're an American, like it should be incredibly weird to meet an American who doesn't speak Spanish fluently. And it should have been like this for like a long time. It should just be part of our world. Like, oh yeah, we're on this continent. And then slowly we'll teach ourselves fucking fucked up French for the Canadian people. Okay? We can all learn fucked up French. That's fine. They say frigo. They don't say the refrigerator for fridge. There's a fact. I got a B+ in that test. So, yeah, a long way to wind up this dumb ramble is that language is what bonds people, and all humans are relatively the same overall. We can have our mental capacities severely distorted by all kinds of cultural conditioning and stuff like that, which is where you end up with kind of the fucked up world we're in right now. But people generally just want to talk about their kids, how tired they are, and how much food and what food they're going to have or what food they like to eat or something. Generally, people have the same concerns. Do I get to go home somewhere safe? Do I love my family? Yeah. Oh, yeah, your kids goes to the movies and stuff. Okay, mine does too. Well, look, now we're not so scared of each other. They keep you afraid because they maintain deserts. They maintain social connection deserts. That's what I wanted to say. So that's the only phrase I probably would use in the book. Look for it. Look for my book, my upcoming book, The 7 Habits of Highly Defective People. Been working on it for like 20 years. I don't know. It's kind of hard to pull it together, honestly. Just advice and stuff, I think I have an outline somewhere. So because these guys came over, though, I had to clear out the closet, and I opened it up, and it was like, oh, God damn it. It's one of those things where my roommate and I had been like, oh, okay, we'll get to the closet. We both got stuff in there. We got to do that closet. And then we don't, just time goes by. I have bags of shavings from woodworking, from doing planing, because I was going to use all those little shavings as ribbons in my packaging. My packaging was very adorable. And so I'm going to keep at least one little bag. Still to maintain that little hope because I was going to say, oh my God, look at all that crap. So, okay, it's not really in a shot. I have a little like tray of sauce packets. Sauce packets. You're married now. What do they throw rice? No, that's okay. We'll do that one again. Now I'm covered in sauce packets. So I pulled out all this shit. Roommate had some people over a few years ago, so we have 400 solo cups. Well, 392 solo cups. We'll get through them eventually. But a whole bunch of stuff, just like, both of us have been piling crap in there, And then, luckily, though, there was a bag of food. And I'm in gobble gobble mode lately. Dealing with stress, managing my this is Not the best answer to overwhelming feelings all the time, but it's one of them. So I'm going with it. Not doing too bad though. Not doing too bad. No, certainly am a good example of why chubby guys love having beards. Because boy, do I not do no beard well. This is exactly the reason. So to hide the whatever. Okay, that's my own issues. So I find this bag of food, and it's a bag of chips and a box of Trader Joe's cookies. And I was like, I don't think chocolate goes bad. It's only expired like last year, 2023. That's not so bad. So I took a look. I mean, I'm not going to eat moldy stuff. I'm not going to eat gnarly shit. But if it just looks like it's gone stale, and so I took a bite, and it didn't taste great. Tasted like chocolate though a little bit, and I didn't die. So I ate another one, and I ended up eating that entire little bag of chips. Here, look. I said chips. I meant to say chocolate. Mini chocolate stars. Ate all these fucking things. These little white balls. There was a whole bunch of those at the bottom of the bag. I drank them. I used I pinched, they're like little sugar BBs, whatever the fuck. And so because I care about myself, I didn't want to eat the chips because those had expired in 2018. So apparently these cookies must have a shelf life because clearly these two things were purchased at the same time. They were in a little gift bag kind of thing. And these were just salt and lime flavored tortilla chips. I said no. And then the next day I said yes. So I went and I opened those up and they didn't smell great and they were stale. Again, I looked for mold. I looked for like fuzzy growths. That's obvious. Those are obviously a line I won't cross. But I figured, what's the worst that could happen? I could die. I Googled it. How old can chips be? Can you eat chips? I asked the internet, found some people chatting about it because obviously I'm not the only person in the world who's faced this. Some people are like, yeah, they go stale. They're pretty fine though. And I think most people were referring to like a year or two. I got to get these sauce packets off the ground. Do not leave sauce packets below your feet for obvious reasons. Okay. Or near any skate parks. Okay. If you drop a bag of sauce packets on a skate park, you will then find yourself filming some hilarious videos of skater people. I think skater people are the nicest people on the planet, honestly, based on all the YouTube videos I see. I meant to say Twitch. I meant to say Instagram videos I see. Nice skaters. They're just so supportive. I really mean it. Like skating feels so wholesome to me. I want to become a skater. So then I ate the fucking chips. So I'm like, I got a burrito, and I use a burrito as basically like a nacho dispenser. So I squeeze it up. Like swaddle, is that the word? And I get it all up and I push it up so that it sort of oozes itself out. And then I scoop at it with nachos. That's how I like to eat my burritos. And then I take bites as I slowly work my way through the innards, leaving behind the outer husk of tortilla. That's my move. Sometimes I'll just take big old bites like a regular old person, but I got to maintain the reasons why I can't be drafted. Okay. I'm too old, I think. I think I am. I think I've escaped. No, I'm joking. They're going to draft us into our 60s before when the data wars start. Some fucking Don Jr. AI is going to go psycho and fight another Don Jr. AI, and we're going to have to go to war over that somehow. Anyway, I had decided to take the risk on these chips, and so they were a little bit salty. I added more. They had a little hint of lime. I didn't have any extra lime to add, nor would I. I found it a little gross. Didn't leave a good taste in my mouth. And I kept thinking, has this gone bad? It's been 6 years since these went bad. They probably are bad. They were stale. They weren't soft, but they were still stale. They weren't not a good new crunch. This is going on forever. What the fuck am I doing? And then Google or internet said one thing that could happen is the fat in the chips, the oil that they got cooked in, might go rancid. That's like the worst thing that can happen. If it's not moldy and fucked up, So I'm like, maybe that's what the bad taste is. Maybe I'm just tasting rancid oil. Probably. But they weren't like real greasy type chips. They were sort of like thin, sort of cardboardy, you know. But they were great for scooping off pieces of tomato and stuff, you know. Guacamole and shit. Little chunks of meat. Just great. I had a nice time. And I'm very proud of myself because poop finds a way. I didn't get sick. I didn't get sick. I didn't get sick, bitch. One of the reasons they didn't tell I was autistic is because I'm not fussy about food at all. That's like one of those autistic things that there's a lot of sensitivities to foods and food textures. And I am like, no, I am a garbage disposal when it comes to food. Put it in me and I will, and that's it. I don't even think about it. There's nothing else to it. I like to savor, though. I like to take my time and eat slowly and enjoy. You see those people that take big old bites like they're in a race. You're just missing out on so much flavor, homie. Yeah, so how does life find a way? I really did not intend... Where's my phone? Where's my phone? I found my phone. I went for a little walk. I found this place where it's a nice area in my never-ending attempt to stay healthy. Or not, it's not going to use the word stay, to approach the concept of healthiness, to fend off dying in my 40s of a heart attack. At least I want to die after my parents die. Maybe before, so that'll be like a nice way to finally get them. That's a dark thought, isn't it? No, I don't want to die. I don't want to die anytime soon. I do expect to die of old age and be like, or if I make it that far, to have no retirement. I expect there to be like, if I'm lucky, somebody who owns a barn will find me somewhat endearing and I get to be like a weirdo that lives in someone's barn. That's kind of my hope. That's more or less what I hope for. I don't have any savings. There's zero retirement, nothing, none of that compounding. And even if I started now, I'd still have a tough time because the only way to save up and have a retirement in this world, in this country, is to inherit a bunch of money or invest it and profit off the market. You know, we don't just have this notion that, oh yeah, you get to a certain age and your society will take care of you no matter what. Don't worry about it. What the fuck? Why should we stress people out about that? That's crazy. None of your jobs should have to be coupled with the idea that if you don't toil enough, make good decisions, and then you can die in some comfort while the vultures feed on your carcass. They don't want anybody to die with any inheritance left over. They'd love to take all as much money as they can squeeze out of the system. There was some headline about the Medicare. I'm not going to say the exact words, but like being scammed to the tune of tens of billions of dollars. At every single stage of your life, you are just fed upon by this rotten fucking society. So I have not been able to feed upon it well enough that I have savings enough to plan on retiring. So I'm hoping to either find a job I like, you know, working at a photo booth and just, I don't know, maybe I could be one of those dudes that dresses up like a plant, scares people when they walk by. That seems like a pretty good job. What am I doing? So I was on a walk. My roommate, it's a nice area where he works. And I went and picked him up today. And I figured out that as I'm trying to stay healthy, I walk around where I live and I've actually finally found a better route. But I was walking along these areas and they're just gross. Not that it's even really a bad area or anything. It's just for sensory overload, for my autistic sensitivities, cars and people, and just one square corner after another, and I never felt at ease in kind of like you're in nature. It's like you're in a city, like you're being like you're bombarded. And when your brain literally cannot filter out sound in a way that eases the processing your body and mind does regarding how it ingests that sound, any kind of active, noisy environment is really overstimulating. And just cars going by every 10, 15 seconds is maybe, you know, interval. It's not like I'm walking down the highway and that'd be really overwhelming. But like, I never enjoyed it. So I found this other area near my house now that's a little bit better with some trees and stuff. And still some noise and still people, still kind of, but anyway, today I took a walk around where my roommate works and it's really nice. It's like big old trees. There's not that many cars. You get the kind of get leaf blower guys. Sometimes they make a lot of noise. You got to play that game where you like this happened today, where this lady was walking, and I'm walking, and I wear like dirty sweatpants. I'm really gross. I feel like I just don't. I don't know. I can't tell, but I feel like I'm a little ominous because I'm a little bit tall. I don't know. It would take long steps. I'm a somewhat unkempt looking person. And I'm walking and just trying to get in my head or get out of my head or whatever the hell. And this lady's walking, and I don't want to. It's that thing where your pace is off. Like I don't want to walk the same speed. So I'm going, but I also don't want to control. Like I don't want to slow down to not catch up to her. But I was like slowly catching up to her, and I'm feeling like it's a chase now. And it's feeling awkward. It's like God, this is. So I took a detour. I just felt uncomfortable for everybody involved. I just didn't because I was like, and now I'm going to overtake her, and we're going to like walk past each other for a little while. Until like speed up. What am I getting at? The point is I leaned down to tie my shoe and I found a plant. There was a tiny little plant sitting there. And I thought to myself, man, that's a little plant. Look at that little thing. It is looking dead as fuck because this is not a good spot for this little plant to make a stand and grow into a bigger plant. And there's a lot of canary pines around, which are pretty cool. So I decided I'm going to give this little plant a home. I pulled it out of the ground and its roots came up. I mean, if I'd kill it, whatever, just fucking killed it. But its roots came up and I put it in my pocket. And I was feeling like, okay, I got a little flower project to do now. Or, plant project. You guys know I love plants. I talk about it all the time. It's a bad shot. God damn it. Trying to do it while talking here. There it is. Great shot on the camera. Looks good. There, maybe it's a little bit better. I don't know if it's part of a pine tree. There you go. Looking kind of cool. It's overblown because of the brightness or something. And so this is this cute little blue planter that I put it in. So now I have what I hope is a fun project to share with everybody and to update. But actually already spoiled the story here. How much fucking time are we? Are you still watching? Why would you watch this? Why would anybody watch this? I lost it. I was like proud that I had it in my pocket. I felt like a guy who has like a charming comedy like they used to make. Like, oh, a man with a plant in his pocket. Ooh, he falls in love. Oh no, the bus is getting away. Like one of those stories. He has a balloon. Something strange. Turns out it's cancer. He dies at the, some weird, like, sad twist at the end. But anyway, so it was in my pocket, and then I came back here and I tapped my pocket, and I was like, oh, be careful, dude. You forgot about the plant. And I was like, oh, shit. So I opened the pocket, and I look in, and I can't find it. There's no plant. There's no plant in my pocket in the coat jacket thing I was wearing. And I gave up. I went down the stairs to the car, looked for it. Maybe it fell out somewhere around there because I had my earbud thing in my pocket too. I love shirt pockets. Big shirt pocket guy. What the fuck am I doing? And so anyway, just before I sat down to record this podcast that I'm about to start, my lights go off here. This blue light turns off because this little pluggy thing came out. And damn it. It's got these shitty connector bits. These are these like LED connector things. And they fall out occasionally. It's just like one of those LED kits I made out of PVC. And because of that, I looked down on the ground, and I had already looked for this thing. I looked down, and there's the plant sitting there on the ground. Just doing a thing. I mean, doing nothing. Being a plant. Here, look. See? That turn you on there, ladies? The wrist brace. So I have a plant now. So that it was like wilted and shit, but it was only been out of the ground for like an hour by this point. So it's like I rushed it downstairs, put it into the thing because I'd already gotten the thing out because I thought I had it in my pocket when I did that. And now I have a plant project to share with everybody. And that's the reason we should teach everybody English in this show. All right. Sorry. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm suddenly having a ton of regrets, but let's not dwell. So where are we in the project? This is what I should have done at first. This is probably the worst way to do a show. Ow, fucking wrist. Oh, no, God damn it. Ugh. All right. So, fuck. Okay. Thing keeps falling out. So here we go. We're in the project. Just a quick update. This is okay. So that's Chrome. Does it? Oh, it does zoom in where you click. So Tell the Truth, Cenk, a 2-part documentary about work, solidarity, dignity, fairness, equality, unionizing, dignity is still in the works. I have a ton more work to do. So what's been out so far is the first 97. I will fix this. It will be 100% when I put out the rest of it. But the first 46 minutes is out. You've probably seen all that. If you haven't, checked the description. There's links down there to watch. There's also a couple of clips. Chunk 2 is coming soon. This is mostly finished. I've got a lot of little tweaks to make. I really need to like buckle down. The sources post is dogging me. That's like going to be my big focus today. In fact, I'm not even going to do much more podcasting after this. I'm just going to bitch about healthcare for a little bit because I need to kind of finish this up and get working on other stuff. And it's already 30 something. Yeah, okay, good. That'll be fine. Thank you for tuning in, guys, by the way. Sorry about that ramble. I think I had a few funny moments, but I also was losing the thread there a whole bunch. So, okay, what am I getting around that? Just a real quick update on the video. What you've seen up through minute up to 40. Yeah, okay. So you've seen from here to here. This is roughly where it ends. So it picks up, the next chunk I'm going to drop is this to basically here. So this is 46 minutes and we've got another half hour ready to go. So that's a little sneak peek at where things are. Oh my God, look how much there is. So, yeah, not sure if I'm going to blur this or not, but every single green one is a nested sequence, which means there's like sequences buried inside sequences and stuff. So, yeah, our TYT's lawyer's looking at this going, okay, there's something there. Can we see any clues? And this goes on, this timeline here heads way over through, a whole bunch of extra stuff that's like partially edited on that side of it. So, so part 2 is dropping. It's looking like mid-April, second week, more than likely. I mean, I could put out what I have right now, but there's a few pieces I want to re-record. I got to do the VO for that. And there's just got to make sure that it's done. I did this one in such a freaking hurry to get this out on the date that I got it out on. Computer problems. And I just sort of had to force myself to finally actually pull the trigger on that one to get it done, because if you keep making excuses, it might never happen, and that could, I don't know, whatever. The point is, it's out. It's not perfect. There's actually one part that's even missing some dialects, or where it's the Matt Taibbi and Katie Halper talking to Cenk about journalistic ethics, and I say even ball kicking, and that voice isn't in there. You don't hear it. It's like, how did I mute that? Because that's what you're supposed to pick up on when you watch a video before posting it. But I didn't do that because I was rushed because my computer was breaking on me. So the most important video I've ever made, and I didn't do a preview watch. It's just so stupid. So I'm gonna try to take not my time per se, but I want to do this one with a little bit more, care in a sense. So chunk 2 is coming soon. After I get this podcast posted, after I get the sources post done, and I'm going to update all my links and all of my posts with that. I feel like that's an important step, because even though I know I'm credible, even though I know where I'm coming from, a lot of people are being introduced to me for the first time. They're going to hear me ramble about eating old chips and think I've lost my dang mind, and they'd be right. But I want people to kind of see the extent of the research I've done, or at least have their own ability to go look at all the clips that I'm sharing and look at all the stuff in the government documents and the tweets and all that stuff. So, and especially I think at that point, it'll be somewhat validating to share with reporters, I'm hoping, even though I honestly am not really all that sure what I'm doing. I probably come off as amateurish and not professional and all that stuff. So that's an inhibitor. Yeah. Which is fine. I mean, I'm kind of a personality offer. I'm trying to offer up sort of a personality on along with this whole project as well. That's what I'm doing with podcast. I mean, isn't that what everybody does who does podcasting, basically? who's a comedian or whatever the fuck. So I guess, I mean, it's like, I feel like I'm embarrassing as a person, but I have to, if I try to regulate that and not be embarrassing, if I'm not myself, then I don't come off as an authentic person, but also I'm just going to end up disappointing you, even if I do get through your barriers or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. It just feels weird. This is like the sense of self stuff you have when you're, you know, struggling with that concept in a lot of ways. So I am constantly feeling that imposter syndrome thing for sure. Actually, in this video that's up on the channel, I had, here, let's watch it real quick. Okay. This video, first of all, this is the ethical dark web breakdown I did. This is from the last podcast, but I added a bunch of stuff to it. There's a montage of Sahil letting it rip when he was, you know, towing the company line there against the union busting, not even trying to call him out, but I ended up, there's so much more to it than I realized, so I just made like a little montage. But this opening chunk here, settings are crap right now. So this like foggy background is just this really cool Da Vinci generator. It's very amateurish from like a kind of a crappy graphics you might find in a documentary maybe, but it's got a lot of cool controls. So I just played around with it, and I kind of want to do this thing where I'm like where I edit the podcast into clips, but I edit those clips into sort of being kind of documentary style almost. Like I'm sort of producing the video as I'm working on all these clips. That's one way I can probably maintain forward momentum on the video while doing the podcast. So it almost requires, and I'm thinking, I got to think this through a little bit more, but like essentially, especially after I get the second chunk out, I might do some live streams, but I might do like podcasts, or might just start to really produce the video as a public thing. I mean, it's essentially what this whole notion is the public phase versus the private phase, right? So been working on it in secret, all sad and melty, and now I'm still gross and stuff, and eventually I'll become a butterfly, and that's when I get to build 7 pizza ovens for my gaggle of grateful kitchen wives, which is my dream. But I decided to make this one kind of a thing, and I had originally titled this "Tell the Truth." Cenk filmmaker, and so I called myself a filmmaker. Here's what it looks like. A question here from Dickie Knuts. I assume the K is silent. Sorry if I'm upsetting your ancestors. 2933. This was great. I forgot this chapter in the Cenk. Okay, so it slows down the start of the video. It takes 15 seconds. It's probably a dumb idea. dumb way to start a video. It's got the cheesy, smoky graphics behind it. Just mute it real quick and play. I really did I love playing around with some of the Da Vinci Resolve stuff. Actually, this is that ethical dark web stuff coming in. So, but I had called myself a filmmaker, and I just felt really uncomfortable calling myself a filmmaker, even though I aspire to be a filmmaker. I want to be a filmmaker. I know some people go to film school and then they work on films and they make films and they have a whole, and I'm not even judging the ones that are a little cringy and annoying about it, because God damn it, that's fucking cool that you're pursuing it. I always have, so you're annoying, big deal. Go be annoying, make cool art, make shitty art, keep trying. You say what you got to say. Become a dickhead in the system that we all are trying to somehow carve a little niche into. It's whatever, it's fine. You're trying. I hate it when people just dismiss people for being somewhat earnest or being a little annoying during a phase of their life or whatever. That's all okay. It's all part of the drill. Point is, I don't remember, but those people I think can rightfully call themselves a filmmaker. The ones that are submitting to film festivals and they make films and they're filming and making. Whereas I think I could probably claim that term, but I feel like that's a term you apply to yourself. It's odd, but that, on the other hand, so what? It's not what we're thinking it clearly, but it fits the joke of me wanting to be a filmmaker. Just pretend you're a fucking filmmaker and make a film and call yourself a filmmaker. I'm part of the story anyway. So it sort of fits in with the way that joke kind of conceit could be delivered. And then And then it becomes like, well, maybe I just make fun of it, like, you know, make little jokes about calling myself a filmmaker, like esteemed film, like exaggerate it so much that, but that just draws attention to it. So these guys, this is the struggles us filmmakers face. We don't, should I say, award-wanting filmmaker? That's a little bit funny. Not so much ha-ha funny, but it's not zero funny. Not zero funny would be a title for an album, for a comedy album, honestly. I missed him in fucking stand-up, goddamn. Okay, so, oh boy. Yeah, so keep an eye out for part 2 coming soon. Part 1, the full version. This chunk 3, which I was going to release separately. See, it says with full version now. So originally I thought maybe I do all 3 chunks and then I do the full version, but the final bit will be like this next major chunk. And if you follow this podcast, if you're up to speed with me on all this stuff, you'll probably pick up on all that. Meaning you'll probably kind of know what's going to be in this full version anyway, because I'm more than likely going to be talking about what I'm putting in it and everything. But I might keep some of it, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe if I go on some other people's shows, I'll end up talking about stuff that's coming up. I don't know if there's really spoilers to protect in this whole thing. Like I sort of have this notion that there's some narrative reveals that are choices that I'm making in order to tell the story the way I feel like I'm choosing to tell it. And so in that sense, I'm like, oh, that's a spoiler. That's kind of a spoiler. But on the other hand, the purpose of this is to try to get this information out and to get people interested in the story and to get people to hopefully want to support me in telling the story and correcting the record and, you know, doing all that stuff. That's pretty important, and hopefully learning something about capitalism and union organizing and all that stuff. So in that sense, I lost the train of that thought there. And then this whole part 2 is this other freaking thing that might just be like a 4th chunk or its own separate thing, depending. That's the TYT could. I mean, what's interesting about this whole project is that TYT is very much a partner in this story, whether they say anything or not. And they haven't, by the way. Didn't go all the way. They haven't said anything yet. I would be stunned if they don't know. Again, I'm going to keep saying the same things over and over here until they actually do respond. But this is a story they should correct. They should correct the record. They have not corrected the story. The lie that they told their audience, they have not corrected it yet. Now that I'm doing this and making this stink about it, my channel's up to 580 something subscribers, which is more than double what it was a month ago. And I'm a nobody. I have no reach. It's unlikely, you know, but so it's too early to say they know for sure, I think. But considering that they're also tapped into Cenk follows me on Twitter. Tons of TYT people know me and know my shit and see and you know, there's no way that they don't know. I'd be stunned if they don't know about this by now. So yeah, I'm just going to keep calling them out. You guys got to tell the truth, man. Tell the fucking truth for once about this. Then you're going to let this narrative that Nancy Pelosi originated this union, that your Democratic establishment opponents were out to get you in your political campaign. You're going to let that narrative hold without addressing it now that someone's calling you out for the lie. It was a lie. You cannot lie anymore. It's over. It'll feel good to say the truth, Cenk. Just tell the truth, motherfucker. It'll feel okay. You don't have to carry the burden anymore. You're free. You're free. So, because it's getting out there, man. You guys got to tell it, you know, correct the story. So it's a living and breathing thing. So whatever TYT decides, however they decide to respond, and it might be a cease and desist or something like that. That's all going to be in upcoming parts. So I don't really know where that goes. Kind of an interesting thing going on in the Steven Crowder universe. There's an employee of theirs that faced a whole bunch of terrible abuse. Nothing at all like, it's not even fair, but like this guy is sticking his neck out to try to get out of the NDA, and it sounds like he's facing some serious legal consequences. And I watched this video of this dude. I don't know much about, I don't follow those internal worlds, those right-wing conservative people. This guy, I'm sure he's somebody I would probably have, you know, very strong disagreements with about most things. But the video I watched of him, this dude talking, seemed to be of consideration and care, and he seems pretty stressed out, and he's putting his neck out there. And so I related to some of that, but also he's doing a fundraiser. There, this guy.
Hank here from the future. Guy's name is Jared Monroe. I didn't say that early enough in the story, so that's his name, Jared Monroe.
He's doing a fundraiser, 7.8 thousand retweets. Wow, that's pretty good score there, buddy. For legal fees. Why the fuck are lawyers so expensive? What the fuck? Like, obviously, it's just this thing that the ruling class, the upper classes, the wealthy people all have to their advantage, is that in order to have any kind of competency or access to the legal system, you have to fork over hundreds and hundreds of dollars an hour to these lawyers. Like, why is that profession so expensive? I understand they go to law school. I understand that law school is expensive. I understand blah, 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 blah. But the why is so clear that it's a useful way to prevent, or it's yet another barrier of oppression that's baked into our system, is that people who are at the bottom, workers, even this guy, he's probably got paid decently. I don't know his situation. It sounds like he's drained his money. I mean, he's in some pretty intense legal stuff going on, it sounds like. So legitimately needs the help that people are coming to help him with. I'm not on team Jared Monroe, but 77,000 raised of a $100,000 goal. That's pretty. So here, I'm Jared Monroe, a former employee who is legally abusing and a former employer, got to get those words right. A former employer, he's referring to Steven Crowder, is legally abusing and attempting to intimidate me into silence. The fees to protect my family are now in the tens of thousands and rising every day. I need your help to stop this abuse, to help me protect my wife and children from financial ruin, and to fight back. How? By dissolving my unconstitutional NDA, non-disclosure agreement, non-disparagement agreement. I didn't choose this battle. But if I do not fight back, I fear I will be subjected to legal harassment into perpetuity. I simply do not have the funds to battle this alone. So I need your help. Every donation, no matter how small, will greatly help me and my family as we fight this abusive case. So he's getting, pushed around by a much wealthier person. And it's expensive. But shout out to the free speech battle in that way, even though I'm sure this guy and I would have severe disagreements. I have often wondered about my project with the Young Turks, kind of ultimately coming down to a free speech kind of thing. Like if they tried to silence me with legal stuff or whatever that is, or the story that I want to tell, I feel like there's a free speech protections that would be needed to be navigated there. That's partly the whole corner I have. Like Cenk I don't know if he feels cornered or anything, but like their whole point that they've done to themselves is they call themselves the honesty people. Like they're the honest company. What they say is honesty. They're always going to be honest, and they're different than other corporations. So let's see it. Live your principles. You box yourself in when you make those types of claims. When you're the self-anointed corporate police calling people out, pointing out, bosses that need to be stood up to, and then you run your workplace in a way that requires your employees to stand up to you. And so, but to Cenk's credit, and I mean, let's just say that I'm speculating that stuff might happen. I'm only speaking as if I've considered the idea that this becomes a battle on free speech grounds. So, but to Cenk's credit, just to be fair, they haven't taken down any. I mean, not that I think they could if they want, but like the videos I'm posting using clips from them are up and fine and being used as they should be, because it's fair use and it's news commentary and stuff. And that's their entire business. But so like in that sense, at least, he hasn't done any of that stuff, so I'm not saying it does, but it is. I guess that's what I was thinking about when I watched this Jared guy talking about his stuff. Is the two things that I feel a sense of relation to. Certainly not as politics, having been a longtime employee of the Steven Crowder world, but being treated like shit by a worker or by an employer. That feeling that your NDA. I never signed an NDA TYT. They wanted me to. I have a lot to say about that. I think it's disgusting, but. The notion of feeling trapped, knowing there's a truth that needs to be told, and taking a risk to tell it, because it's also really bad for your career to stick your neck out. I keep using that phrase. That and the why are lawyers so expensive stuff. It's like, what the fuck? I paid a guy $250, which is really cheap for a lawyer for some advice. I had to borrow money to do that. It's like, what the like? So lawyers are expensive so why don't we make law schools free? Why don't we this whole culture of money, of being of enriching yourself? And I know like lawyers, so they could argue. I mean, I'm sure they probably face these kinds of questions constantly within the legal profession and stuff. And certainly on the corporate side, you get pulled. I know there's lawyers who work in public defense. Olayemi Olurin, who just started a podcast with this other guy, is a lawyer, Lolo, on TikTok. I don't know too much about the guy. Seems kind of cool. Good vibe. Nice mustache, nice eyes. Weird way to describe a person, but good vibes. They have a show on YouTube that I just watched, but they're both lawyers in New York. That guy actually, Lolo, he's like famous on TikTok. I don't know how much money that generates, but he was talking about how he's struggling financially. And I was like, like, not that I was thinking I would make money on TikTok, but like, how popular do you have to be for it to not be a struggle? It's like, what the fuck? So, and anyway, they're leftist people. There's like, so the profession itself isn't the problem. It's that the law is a playground for the wealthy and for the powerful. And they use that. If anybody below that wants to access it, it's a very, very steep climb, especially if you don't have a union and if you're by yourself and you're not rich. It's fucking terrifying for me, man. It's really scary. I just wanted to jump into this really fast since I'm here. We're doing it 53 minutes. We'll call this one a quick hour. These motherfuckers, geez, goddamn Joe Biden, Barack Obama, lying scoundrels. Is there any two greater villains in the history of the world in terms of their possible their power to have done something about climate change? Obama made America the #1 oil producing company. Joe Biden has America as being the #1 like gas and oil. Like both of these dudes are just full gas on the pedal for destroying the environment on behalf of their corporate motherfucking assholes. Well, you guys are going to kill yourselves and us. We're all going to die so that these pieces of shit can make their quarterly profit statements. But Biden's been catching shit for this tweet, this lie, scoundrel. On my watch, healthcare is a right in this country. Not a privilege. I think he meant ice cream. Ice cream is a right. And then here is a quote. This must be him. All Americans. Oh, yeah, it is. It's because it's got the quote in the circle. That's how you know it's a real important person when they don't have the closing quotation. All Americans deserve the peace of mind that if an illness strikes or an accident occurs, you can get the care that you need. President Biden. Alt. So, nope. Nobody has peace of mind about their health care in this country. We all die early. We suffer. We wait till it gets bad. We stress about the money. We grow up watching our parents stress out about money. We're neglected as children because our parents we don't have a culture where we go to the doctor because we need to. Even in an imperfect national healthcare system would be far better than the one we have. Peace of mind? Fuck you. There's no peace of mind with healthcare. We're fed to the demons in this country. So this tweet was March 23rd, 2024. Just a complete bullshit lie. If an illness strikes or an accident occurs, you can get the care you need. That's not true. You have to then... What happens... Okay, let's just look at the next one. Then there was this one, dated March 27th, 2024. So they're back at it. They're back at this sclerotic, Botoxed up, fucking mannequin head, wax doll mummy motherfucker who's going to usher in Trumpian fascism because he's too much of an eco psycho to keep running for president when he shouldn't be. It's disgusting. Anyway, here's his tweet. POV. You believe healthcare should be a right, not a privilege in America. First of all, people are correcting the idea because the camera POV would be that the you in this would be actually be the camera. In other words, the viewer, the observer. So yes, I believe healthcare should be right. And these two don't. They certainly don't. They take money from healthcare companies. They are corrupt. They take money from the demons who feed upon your corpse. Then you'll recall, this one has been going around. This is from a tweet account called The Burn Identity. Good pun. Good pun. I've heard better. I've heard worse. Above the 50% mark. You're welcome. POV, that time Joe Biden said that even if Medicare for All by some miracle passed the House and Senate, he's skeptical and would veto based on assumption it would delay health care, which it would not, and has consequences. Okay, so he has issues with the thing where people would be able to go see the doctor.
Let's assume, and I've asked other candidates this kind of question, veto question. Let's flash forward. Your president, Bernie Sanders, is still active in the Senate. He manages to get Medicare for All through the Senate in some compromised version, the Elizabeth Warren version or other version. Nancy Pelosi gets a version of it through the House of Representatives. It comes to your desk. Do you veto it?
I would veto anything that delays providing the security and the certainty of health care being available now. If they got that through and by some miracle, there was an epiphany that occurred, and some miracle occurred that said, okay, it's passed, then you got to look at the cost. I want to know, how did they find the $35 trillion? What is that doing?
It's less than the 37 trillion we spend. I know there was some study that showed it was like, I don't know the right number, but it was less. Like it was like a think tank kind of like establishment sort of foundation thing that healthcare, Medicare for all would be less. It was somewhat close, but it was less. So he's going, oh, well, we can't delay it. It would be irresponsible to do Medicare for all. Just be fucking honest, Joe Biden. Say it's because you're protecting the profits of your corporate buddies because of these. This is the most vampiric industry. It's fucking sick that we do this to our own people. And it's all on behest of the bosses who prefer to maintain the system where you have to have a job to get the access to the profit-making possibility that an insurance company will allow you to see a doctor in exchange for the money that you give them. And then if you lose that job, you lose your health care. Or like when I got fired from TYT, they offered me COBRA. You could use this as COBRA. Here's your COBRA paperwork. It's like $900. Like, yeah, okay, now that I have no income, I was already under fucking paid to start with, but now that I have no income, I get to spend money I don't have way more than I... Give me a fucking break, man.
Significantly raise taxes on the middle class, which it will. What's going to happen? Look,
the health insurance premiums are a private tax, you fuck. That's the boogeyman. That's the thing. Oh, you don't want your taxes to go up, do you? You don't want to. Oh, you don't want to spend more money, do you? You don't want to have to actually get something for the money you spend, do you? Meanwhile, the money you're currently forking over to these for-profit institutions, these for-profit vampire companies, is only for their Wall Street gains, only so they can send out dividend checks and do stock buybacks. It's for their executive compensation packages and their big bonuses. You don't want to have to stop funding that, do you?
Opposition isn't.
Your taxes might go up. Well, you get to stop paying the private fucking taxes. And we all be so much safer when everybody's safer if we do checkups. I have this thing on my face right here that I think is cancer because I'm a little worried. But I'm hoping it goes away. That's my plan. My plan isn't to go, oh my God, I should go have it checked out. It's, well, let's just hope it goes away. I'm not even talking about the ones on my nose that I'm certain is cancer. I'm talking about this new one. Maybe I just bumped it on something. Maybe I do sleep fighting.
Into the principle that you should have Medicare. I mean, everybody, healthcare should be a right in America. My opposition relates to whether or not, A, it's doable, two, what the cost is, and what the consequences for the rest of the budget are.
It's doable, it's less, and it's less. That's the fucking answer. And it would cement Democratic power. A major gain, like some kind of universal healthcare system, would be a political winner for decades. For decades. And they still refuse. These people are psychos, man.
How are you going to find $35 trillion over the next 10 years without having profound impacts on everything from taxes for middle class and working class people, as well as the impact on the rest of the budget? Because
we're not giving it to private companies anymore. I mean, I know, like, he knows he's lying. He knows he's full of shit. He knows they do this in other countries. He's a lying scumbag. So there's Joe Biden, and this, of course, is the person who tweeted out, you believe healthcare should be a right, not a privilege. There's this. Here from when people asked Joe, Mr. Healthcare, about all the women and children he's been murdering in his genocide in Gaza.
My coverage.
What about the healthcare in Gaza?
Everybody deserves health care.
So I saw a different view of this where you can see the people screaming and stuff. But they're going, what about the people in Gaza? Yeah. Now, one thing I remembered, though, which I haven't seen anybody point out, not that I'm checking everything, but on the internet here, there was a time, this is back to 2016, around the end of the Obama era. Newsflash, NBC News. Let's just listen to Lester Holt.
Right behind President Obama tonight, as always, will be the vice president. Today, Joe Biden spoke exclusively with our Savannah Guthrie about the loss of his son, Beau, also revealing his thoughts about Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump, and the 2016 race.
What the fuck?
For his 8th president, and now the president, only with his heart still heavy, his seat.
Mr. Vice President.
A heartbeat from the president, but with his heart still heavy from the loss last year of his son, Beau.
And I think people are wondering, how are you doing?
We're doing well. We're focusing on the inspiration that Beau was rather than the loss.
As his son ailed, Biden says he confided fears Beau may become too sick to support his family, only with the president.
I said, but Jill and I will sell the house. We'll be in good shape. When he got up, he said, don't sell that house. Promise me you won't sell the house. He's going to be mad at me saying this. He said, I'll give you the money.
Tell me how your relationship with President Obama has evolved.
So, he's talking about Obama saying that Obama offered to give him money for Beau's medical care and his son. This is the president and the vice president of the United States, of the world's wealthiest country. If we're to accept any of this as being true, it seems weird that they would make it up whole cloth. But that Biden had, I know he's not one of the wealthier, he's low on the list of the wealthy politicians, the senators over his time. But that this guy was even considering having to sell his house because of the costs of his dying son, who's a veteran, and that the president of the United States, his boss, because he's the vice president, told him not to sell the house and that if you need, I'll give you the money. And how does that not, let's just take that's what happened. How is that not radicalizing to a person? You're the second guy in command, the heartbeat away from the White House, for moving into the capitalist ovary, which we call the ovary office. And you have to consider selling off assets to pay for your son's health care. And you're not thinking to yourself, well, if this is affecting me, God, this must be really tough for
over these years.
It's family, and he's become family. And I think probably there's been no vice president or president on a personal basis closer than he and I have been.
But
he was too
now,
old back then, man.
with a year left in office, Joe Biden sizes up a presidential field he's no longer part of, calling Hillary Clinton rather new to a key progressive issue propelling Bernie Sanders, income inequality.
What I meant was, for the last 5 years, she's been engaged in foreign policy. She is coming up with some very good ideas, but Bernie is pushing the envelope.
And as for Donald Trump,
Do you think he could be elected? Is it possible?
Yes.
You've said he's been very divisive.
Oh, I think he is divisive. I mean, I think he'd have to acknowledge he's very divisive, and that's not healthy. We always do best when we act as one America.
But Joe Biden says
just one America. So yeah, Joe Biden, here's a Guardian article. Joe Biden, Obama offered money to help support my ailing son's family. The vice president revealed that Obama offered financial assistance when Biden planned to sell his house to support his son, Beau, who died of brain cancer in May. Vice President Joe Biden said he considered selling his home to help support his dying son's family, prompting President Barack Obama to offer him financial support. Obama offered to help Biden, who earns $230,000 annually, during one of their weekly lunches. The vice president said in an interview with CNN published on Tuesday, Beau Biden considered resigning from his post as Delaware Attorney General because of medical concerns. He suffered from a mild stroke in 2010 and was found to have brain cancer in August 2013 while serving his second term as Attorney General. Biden said he and his wife Jill, a community college professor, thought about selling their house to help support Beau's family if he resigned because there was nothing for him to fall back on, no salary. Look at this country, man. Look at this evil fucking country. You get a stroke, you got cancer, and you can't work, and your parents have to sell their house to get money to help support. Like, look how little we care for each other. Disabled people are cast aside in this fucking society. It is absolutely horrendous how immoral and unethical and just I glitch out just thinking about it. Just how fucking the stress and the strain that we make people jump through just to get to what little bit of help there might be. And these guys are the most powerful people on the planet. And he's talking about maybe selling his house because of medical costs. Meanwhile, he's coming up on Twitter as president. Now we fast forward 8 years to this lying scoundrel saying healthcare is a right in this country, not a privilege. That's never been true. It's not true now. What are you lying about? When you get sick in this country, two things happen when a person gets sick or injured, as this lying scoundrel says here. An illness or an accident. An illness strikes or an accident occurs. One is your life has now become immediately more stressful. You have a lot more concern. You have direct pain. You have to now spend a bunch of money. You have to deal with being injured. You have to work through it. You have to still fulfill your obligations. You have to get up and go to work or deal with your shitty work policies and getting time off. In my case, I had injured arms at my woodworking job. I didn't have any paid time off. Taking time off would have meant losing the ability to pay for my bills. I kept working through it with wrist braces until it got so bad that I had to quit. Weekends stopped being enough time to heal. I was starting Mondays in pain, and I was finishing, it was only a 4-day-a-week job anyway. I was finishing Thursdays in even more pain, and now I'm more or less, until I get some healthcare, maybe to get some surgery or some repairs, because the cartilage is totally shot from vibrating tools. I worked through the pain because I'm an American. Because I couldn't afford to not work, and now I can't work because of my hands. I can still do video editing. I can talk. I can put out these podcasts on the YouTube and other places where people click like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Comment below. This fucking lying scoundrel, while he's dealing with this kind of thing. Reuters. Shut up, Reuters. Let me use my ad block. I'm getting ornery. Not hornery, ornery. Obama's offered, oh God, Deloitte. Obama's offered to help Biden financially during his son's illness. I mean, it's madness. It's complete madness that we do this. So two things happen, like I said, when you get injured or get sick. One, your life gets worse. But that's the good news. And I mean that. That's really wonderful, because that's what causes the second thing to happen. A rich person gets money. A rich person gets money. The moment you get sick, the moment you get injured, you get into a catastrophic accident or something and you're in a hospital. Well, guess what? Stock prices are going to start going up. It's good news for the insurance companies. It's good news for the healthcare corporations, the hospital companies, these things, these people. They got stocks to buy back. They got dividends to pay out. They got vacations to pay for. They got executive compensation packages to fund. They got giant bonuses. They got quarterly profits targets that they're trying to reach. And they have meetings, and they get together with each other, and they strategize how to make money when you're at your worst. How to make money when you can't even think, perhaps. So that's what America does to its own citizens. It's the moment your life gets worse, a rich person's life gets better. And they've designed it to be that way. And they're proud of that. I'm getting fucking... Ooh! Shake harder, boy! Simpsons. Good one, Hank. Good one. Yeah, it's just, it's sick. It's sick that we have a system that the moment you're injured, or even just general healthcare in general, but the fucking instant that car bumper snaps your femur, cash register sounds go off in a rich person's brain. Somewhere up the stream, your impoverishment, your physical, your body impoverishment is a rich person's benefit, because they're going to make money at every single step. And now you got to think about it. Now you're paying, on top of the taxes you pay to the private corporations for your health care, the taxes, I would argue, you pay an opportunity cost, meaning you live a diminished life, because people die of preventable diseases in this country because we don't get checkups, we don't go, and then we have this whole individualism bullshit that just makes everybody blame themselves, so we don't actually look at, we're incapable of imagining systemic fixes, except for the very wealthy who live in the nutrient placenta, the powerful nutrient placenta of wealthy socialism, of government just being fully present and fully committed to their daily expansion of their wealth, which is what that is. We're getting mad at each other. We're getting upset. We're feeling guilty. We're feeling shame for taking advantage, or not taking advantage, that's not the right phrasing, but for using what little help there is for people at the bottom. We have to navigate these Byzantine things. We have to spend all that. So you pay a stress tax. You pay a time loss tax. You pay a diminished life tax. Our people die sooner than they should. We lose out on being around people. The meaning of life is to experience the joy of other people. I think that's I want to argue with people about that, but I really believe that. That's it. There's nothing else to it. We're overthinking it. The meaning of life is to be around other people's energy. Nothing else. Good energy. The positive stuff. Yeah, I'll have a Diet Coke. Yeah, sure. And your buddy brings you Diet Coke and some popcorn and you watch a movie. Meaning of life. This podcast sponsored by Diet Coke. Sorry, So we are paying all kinds of taxes for our fucking healthcare, and we're not getting healthcare. They get profits when you get injured. If you're lucky, you get healthcare. And now you got to think about just the idea of having to weigh it on your mind. How am I going to pay for this? You're injured. Your femur just got snapped, and you're afraid to take an ambulance because you can't afford the $5,000 fee for the ambulance. So when we get sick, when Americans get sick, when Americans get injured, what happens in this country is that's a profit opportunity for a wealthy person. Someone who doesn't need money will get more money. We don't provide help, and we should pay people who do help in a world where we offer help and where we make help available without paying for it at point of use. But when you get sick, we sell you help. We sell help in America. Help is not something we should expect from your community, because you've been trained and conditioned to believe that there's something wrong with you if you can't do it on your own. And that's what they love. They love individualism because individualism is weakness. Anybody defending individualism is arguing for weakness. Anybody. No matter what. Sure, yes, there's times where somebody wants to row a boat across the Atlantic by themselves. But 4 people are going to row a boat a little bit easier than 1 person. 2 people are stronger than 1. The scaling power of collective behavior, the cooperation that humans do instinctively and naturally is our fucking superpower. It all comes back to entropy. I could go on off on that jag, but I'm trying to end this goddamn podcast. 150. God damn it. I thought I was going to end at an hour. Still going to be short for me. Individualism is weakness, especially in the narrative that they've got, where you blame yourself. Well, my life's bad. I'm in this state that I'm at because of nothing to do with systemic causes, nothing at all. It's all me, all me, all me, all me. Guilt, shame, guilt, shame, guilt, shame. And I'm not saying people don't have their own agency or their own decisions. I'm saying that the formula is a whole side to that formula that we've been trained to not consider, the way we're influenced by our society. Because rich people don't have that problem. They got the whole formula. That's what lobbying industry is. The lobbying industry is professional complaining and getting the system to provide them with conditions that they want, that they need most. And then they tell themselves this individualistic story that it's them that created all that wealth, not their workers. Not the system that provides with the roads, the streams, the education, the collective cooperation of knowledge from the past. No one ever suggests is part of the way we benefit from it. That's all scaling towards our superpower of collective power. And so when you have to face this healthcare system by yourself, or an employer, like in the Young Turks case, for me, to relate it back to that, I was saying this on a previous podcast, it's something I'm probably going to end up putting in the video, is our weakness was Cenk's strength. I didn't like my working conditions. I had major problems with them. So I decided instead of quitting, and because of that, I had no negotiating leverage to do anything about it. I was an individual. I was very weak, but I was less weak as a group. In fact, I'd say quite strong as a group. That's why we started a union, because individualism is their strength. Your weakness is their strength. And that's what we took away from Cenk. And I'm saying that, like, I mean, yes, I'm speaking directly about that situation, but that's about every unionizing situation. Every time a group stands up and says to get you, like, you're not negotiating with us as individuals, you're negotiating with everybody. Look who has more power in that case. The group. It's like social physics stuff. It's really basic shit, which is why we have to apply the concept of leadership and accountability and responsibility in a way that is far more mature than we currently do, because we just have these psychopaths like Obama and Biden and all their corporate backing, you know, the real string pullers behind the scenes. They're just, all they care about is the next quarterly profit and making sure that nothing ever changes so fast that they can't adapt to it and make money off of it. It's fucking sick, man. All right. Well, that's fine. That's enough. Okay. I'm going to watch this, edit it, see how the stuff I feel like right now in my brain I'm thinking was probably kind of dumb and embarrassing, but then I'll watch it. I'll be like, just a little bit. Not so bad. All right. Well, these two people are liars. Two of history's greatest villains. Just their carbon effects. You know, well, but they're not the Republicans. No, they're not. They're just they're fucking capitalists. Like part of the capitalist infrastructure to keep things from ever getting better. Stupid fucking Biden. This bullshit ass stuff.
Everybody, healthcare should be a right in America. My opposition relates to whether or not, A, it's doable.
Oh, is it doable? Is it the thing that they do in hundreds of countries doable? What we have is not doable unless you only consider that we have a profit system. We don't have a healthcare system. It's very doable. If the design, it's things do what whatever things do is what they are designed to do. So they take your stress. I would just write back. Why did I get? They take your stress and they convert it into yachts. That's all this economy is. It's economy. The root function of the American economy is to convert stress into currency. Then control who gets to decide where those benefits go. So, all right, that's fine. Okay, good God. All right, thank you guys. Thank you for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Plan for the next bit is podcasting still going to be inconsistent, but I'm going to buckle down real hard on the sources post, and I'm going to buckle down. Then after that, I'm going to buckle down real hard on getting that next big chunk done. This here, chunk 2. And it's really close. There's just a couple parts that I watched. And I was like, I don't like the way my voice sounds. Like, I got to fix a couple voice parts, and like, there's a bunch of timing stuff. So it's 2 or 3 good days, and I'd be done. So maybe I'll even put it out earlier, and I might even do a preview on Patreon. I also have a couple of not a couple, but I have some production diaries where over the last couple of years I'd just like basically done this, but talking and working on something, and so those are going to be Patreon exclusives as well. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'm not sure if anybody's interested in that. We did get one new patron, so it's up to $13 an hour, and now that person canceled. I'm grateful for that. Maybe they just wanted to drop a $5, which I appreciate. No problem at all. But that person ended, so now we're back down to $9 an hour, or an hour a month. 13 an hour. Wow, I'd feel wealthy doing that. $9 a month. So we're still got a long way to go to be able to support independent stuff, whatever's going on here. So anyway, that's fine. No worries. Still, the adventure continues. You know, there's a lot more to do. Take care of yourself. Get good sleep. Brush your teeth. Do your things. You know, be nice to yourself. It's fucking hard, man. Joy is rebellion. You gotta be. Don't beat yourself up so much because you're not always fighting the fight. You're burning yourself out. It's all part of their the whole. Sorry, going back. But like every single thing that stresses you out is the system working as it's designed. Because eventually you give up and you fail and you die early, and then you're not a problem anymore. You were just another husk, and that was harvested by these fucking monsters. All right, good stuff. Thank you. Bye. Good night. Gonna go check on my plant. I'm sure I overwatered it. I always do that.